Hi, it's Captain Greg Daly again. I'm going to run the same chart, only instead of using a navigational chart, I'm going to use a satellite chart to see what actually happened to the Cuautemoc and the assist tugs. Okay, so we're starting again at the same time, 0015 UTC, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And here we go. The McAllister is near the sailing vessel. The Tigress. I wonder why she's hanging in there. I don't know what the Tigress did, but that's another vessel that seems to be kind of hanging around. And looks like they're being pulled off of the dock and coming out. Now, we know that she was going astern, so the issue is, it looks like she's going forward, but she's not. She's actually backing up. At 2.2 knots. We know there's an ebb current flowing. The current is going into the harbor. The current is going from this position to this position. And she's doing 2.2 into a 3-knot current running this way. So she's under power. Okay, let's roll forward and see what happens. Sunset crossing crossed in front of her. Wow, that's funny. Or I guess behind her, because that's her stern coming out. Okay, and the McAllister is still back at the dock. The McAllister helped her get out, and that's it. Now I think the McAllister realizes that she's in trouble because she's still heading astern and hasn't turned. 1.1 knot, 2.5 knots. She's still under power. In fact, a little bit more power. Let's see what happens now. Okay. Her stern is starting to turn into the bridge. This is the Brooklyn Bridge, the one that snapped off 3 of her masts, the 3 masts that she had. Wow, I wonder who the McShinny is. That's interesting. 15.6 knots, really close to this interesting situation. These things that are pictures, these are stills from when the satellite shot. These mean nothing. This is nothing in the water right at this present time. That was when the picture was shot. All right, so let's see what happens now. So the McShinny cleared her, didn't hit her. The White Sands is hanging in over here. Let's move this over a little bit so you can see. The White Sands is hanging in over here, and she's getting closer and closer to the bridge. Now you possibly saw some videos from the shore. A lot of the people were standing here on the Empire Fulton Ferry dock. That's where you saw a lot of them, and you'll see that the ship comes into that area. Okay, she's doing 4.3 knots. Now the current is 3, and she's doing 4.3, so I still think she's under power. I don't think she's going faster than the current without power. And although it looks like she's going forward, she is going astern. Okay, and this is where she gets to the bridge. She's still at 4.3. It'll be interesting to find out who the White Sands is. And that Tigress, the one that was over here that was hanging around, came running up at 6 knots, and as the Mexican ship goes under the bridge. Wow, Tigress crossed to the other side. I don't know if she's a photo boat or what she is. It's interesting. And as you saw in some of the pictures before, the stern, after it came through the bridge, came to this dock over here. And that's what we're seeing now. But she didn't stop. Oh, you're out of the picture, aren't you? Let me move you so that you can see what's going on. Okay, so let's see, where am I? Here we go. Unfortunately, they didn't put lines out and stop there. The McAllister didn't push her against the side. Okay, so this, to my view, is the stern that's out. Now she's bowed towards the dock, and the stern is still moving in that position, 0.6 knots. Now, but she doesn't have power on now. Now she's drifting with the current. And the McAllister is running all around her. Look, the New York Police Department has already responded. We've got one NYPD boat on scene. That was incredibly fast. You can watch the time down here for yourself and see what time it is. I'm not going to try to call it out. So we got one tug and one NYPD boat. She's drifting 0.3. FDNY. So that's a fire department boat and another fire department boat. So we have 2 fire department boats there and 2 NYPD boats there. Fire Department of New York, New York Police Department. We have 4 responders responding. Now we have another McAllister tug. The Charles D. McAllister is just off on the side, not doing anything. But the Justine McAllister came up and is trying to do something. Looks like trying to prevent her from going further upstream. Who is that? I don't know. Moved too fast. So we got one McAllister tug, NYPD, 2 police departments, 2 fire departments. That police department looks like he's going back to base. And she's just kind of hovering here between the bridges for a while. This is the Empire Fulton Ferry and the Main Street. I'm not sure what all this rotation means. I still haven't figured this out yet. Don't know what all that's about. Here's another fire department boat coming out. And another fire department boat. So we have plenty of fire department boats out here. And another one. So, wow. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 fire department boats, 1 police department boat. The Charles McAllister sitting on the sidelines, and the Justine is not near the vessel either. So all the fire department and police department have taken over the response. You know, none of the news covered the response that was made by the fire and police department. And that's an incredibly fast response. We're at 01. 25 minus 4 is 21. We're at 9 p.m. now. We're about an hour, a little over an hour after the incident. I'll go ahead and speed it up a little bit, because all we're going to see now is the response. And we've seen the bridge collision, which is really the most interesting thing. Virginia M. Sachs. Who are you, Virginia M. Sachs? Bet you she's a press boat. FD New York, FD New York, McAllister. Wow. Looks like swarms of bees of the police department and the fire department. How interesting is that? As we saw from the other video, they have her in the shallows right now. She's actually aground, and so that's why she's not moving. They pushed her aground. And this is the Manhattan Bridge. I didn't know the name of this other bridge when I made the first video, But now we can see it's the Manhattan Bridge. Now I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. There we go. 0200, 0230, 26 minus 4 is 22. It's 10:30 in the evening. You know, I would imagine this is the period of time that they're trying to rescue the personnel out of the rigging. They probably, some of the fire department boarded her and used harnesses and such to rescue the people that were still hanging in the rigging, because there were a lot of people hanging in the rigging. Okay, so now she takes off again. I assume she's under control. The Grace McAllister and the Ella McAllister, those are both tugs. Hopefully they have her under control. Oops, I lost it. There we go. Don't want to do that. All right, so let's get this going again. And she moves over to the other side, the New York, to the Manhattan side of the channel. And she's coming into this dock here, this pier, which is a pretty large pier. That looks like a military boat, and there's actually a Navy yard over here. So this might be a military installation now that I'll look at it. Don't quote me on that, because I don't really know. But I'll show you what makes me suspect that it is. And she's going to kind of move around here. Okay, so I don't mean to lose the boats. Let me put them in motion again. There we go. The reason I say that is this over here is the Navy Yard. This is the U.S. Navy Yard, and there's Brooklyn Navy Yard. This is where they do a lot of dry dock work, and there's a whole bunch of boats here. I don't know what they are, but they look interesting. Some kind of response boats, when they send the Navy out to respond instead of the fire department and the police department. And so since all of this is military, this dock here or pier here might be military as well. I'm not sure. But this is another thing that's interesting, is I don't know what this is. These look like electric lines. Maybe it's a generating station. Maybe it's a natural gas, several natural gas turbine generating station. I don't know. Hudson Avenue Generating Station. Yes, it's a generating station. Okay, if you read the inscription, you'll find out what's going on. And then the other thing that I found interesting is this over here, Farragut houses. Are these apartment complex? These must be apartment complexes. But this looks like a junkyard. So if anyone knows what all of this is, the Farragut houses, leave it in the comments. Church of the Open Door. All right. So that's where she wound up. She wound up making up over there, undergoing repairs. I think all of this activity over here was rescuing the people out of the rigging. That must have been what that was. And here it is later, and 5-6 hours later, and she's tied up at the pier across the way from the Navy Yard. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope some of this is right.